Hey, Michael. So pleasure to have you on Sinusoidal Music. How is Belgium so far?
It's good. As per usual.
Okay.
We flew into Brussels last night.
Okay.
We have a hotel right by the airport, which is a bit boring, but it's good. It'll be good tomorrow when we fly back home. Just
Okay.
across the street and we're in.
Right.
But yeah, we haven't really done anything.
But you've played in Graspop a lot of times.
Yeah.
And what do you like about Graspop?
I don't particularly like anything about Graspop. It's good. It's a good festival. Many festivals are very much the same. You look out, the crowd kind of looks the same. I was thinking about that driving in.
Right.
Anywhere we go in the world, it's like the metal crowd. They kind of look the same. The kind of hospitality backstage. We're in a tent called Marquee Stage or whatever it's called. They also look the same everywhere. We don't leave feeling that was shit.
Okay.
It's a good festival.
Right.
But they're very similar.
Okay.
To be honest, it's very rarely that we play a festival where we feel, this is different.
Okay.
So in that respect, it's great. But I don't have any particular stories about Graspop.
Okay.
Saying like it's best in festival.
Okay.
It's a good workout festival. Sorry.
So you've been a metal musician for a large part of your life. But what have you seen shift in the metal genre? I think the past few years, there's been a lot of, blend in genres, hip hop, pop, blending in.
Yeah. Wow. Good question. There's been so much since we started, which is now 35 years ago with this band.
Right.
And throughout the years, we've seen the rise and, so to speak, fall of
Classic
grunge,
yeah,
new metal. I wouldn't say fall because they're still here.
Yeah.
Prog metal, which is the kind of subgenre I followed
right
more closely, I guess, because we were part of, in the beginning of that thing. I just met with Blood Incantation out here, and we were record shopping in the US with them, and they're also doing something different, I think. But at the end of the day, I think it's kind of, maybe it's business as usual,
Okay.
I'm a bit too old I'm so busy with other forms of music when it comes to my own enjoyment, like music that I listen to in the privacy of my own home. I don't necessarily seek out the newer metal bands. I sit with old LPs or stuff like that. So in a way, I'm probably the wrong guy to ask. But that's like, I've seen many kind of trends, black metal in Scandinavia in the early 90s. Those kind of things, trends come and go, and most of them have lingered. So if we're talking, say, new metal, not my favorite genre, but those bands that kind of spearheaded that genre are still huge. Slipknot headlining tonight. Are they new metal? I don't know, but Ish. Korn, Limp Bizkit, those bands are still huge. But I guess there's been many casualties that you don't even remember, if you know what I mean. But it's at least it's kind of thriving, and it's doing well. And these festivals, are they new festivals popping up, and festivals like Graspop are still, drawing a big crowd year after year.
Right. So I'm sure you're tired of everyone asking about the growling question.
No.
So,
so excited.
What we like to ask is, you have an amazing clean voice as well. And when did you start exploring that and, putting that into the clean voice? Yeah.
Early on, actually, but I was so shy. This kind of, there's not a lot of people I know that like the sound of their own voice, and I'm one of them. But we started early on. There's clean vocals on the very first Opeth records, and even before the first couple of songs. I like to think the first song that we wrote together when I wasn't a singer in the band was a guy called David singing in the beginning, and there was this part, and he was kind of singing with a clean voice. And I was, that was good, like kind of tracking a melody line, singing it. So I figured, that's not a bad idea. So it's kind of been on the radar for our music since we started, I guess. As has acoustic guitars and that type of dynamics that would bring. So that was always the purpose, I guess, when we formed this band, that to not get shackled by rules per se. So we started early on incorporating other things than just the regular metal, like metal guitars and fast drumming, like just experimenting from the beginning. And the clean vocals was part of that.
So who would be your clean vocal idols of sorts?
Well, they're good. My favorite singers are people who sound like, who are born to sing. Guys like Ronnie Dio and David Coverdale and Paul Rodgers. I like the kind of gritty rock voice. Peter Criss from Kiss, his voice. The Eagles. I mean, like you hear Don Henley sing, you're like, that guy's a singer.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. And in my genre, most singers started doing the screaming, whatever, like myself. So I'm not really a singer in that sense. I just learned as I went along.
One of the best singers I know.
Yeah, but I like the sound of a voice that there's no question about the kind of vocal qualities, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So those types of people. Joni Mitchell, it's big for me. There's so many good singers out there.
You recently collaborated with Ian Anderson.
He's a great singer.
Yeah, and you always, I think, wanted to collaborate with him, and you tried to reach out to him, but it was challenging. But I think you finally got to do so in the new album. How was that whole experience?
Well, it was some time in the making, because between that album and this new one, when we were on a break, I got an email from the Jethro Tull management, and they picked up on some interview or something that I've done, talking about Ian Anderson and James. Now I know it was James, Ian's son, who runs the management. It was him writing and saying that Ian would love to work with you on any future projects or whatever. And I was like, I kept that in mind, and then we did this new album, and I asked him, and he's like, yeah. I didn't really communicate with him. I just sent stuff, and then his son wrote me back. Right. It took like a couple of months until he started, and me and Ian started corresponding. But now if I write him, he'll reply.
That's great. You're great friends with Steven Wilson, who's also playing in India in November. Yeah. And so are you working on anything recently? And the Storm Corrosion project, is it going anywhere?
No, it's not really going anywhere. I mean, other than when we talk or text, rather. Usually when we're texting, it's about some random shit. He usually sends me a funny clip of something, So we're not necessarily talking about any collaborations or music or anything like that in terms of us doing something. But we have talked a lot over the years about doing another Storm Corrosion, especially because we're both very happy with that record. But none of us, we don't really know what to do, because we're not the type of people who would want to repeat ourselves.
Right.
Even if I think that album is great and there's more to do with that sound, I think we want to probably do something
wild.
Yeah, something different, And I'm thinking maybe something that's even more hard, like more special, eclectic. I think it's probably going to happen at some point.
So you recently wrote music for a Netflix series, Clarke. So how do you approach composing for films now that the visuals are being developed outside your frame of mind?
Well, that was I've since done another thing that you will hear about it soon, I think. But It's because that's kind of music written to order, so to speak. Somebody kind of employs you to write something for
These scenes.
for scenes, you know, and that was kind of took some adjusting.
Yes.
Because I sit around writing pieces of music that I think are great music, if you know what I mean. But I delivered the so-called stems to them, so they can basically split a song in 20 pieces and just extract the bass guitar or something. And that took some getting used to for me, because I delivered a good song, but they only used the ride cymbal, if you know what I mean. So you have to get over your pride. This is not your music, it's their music. But I learned a lot doing Clarke, you know, like lots of kind of phrases that I never heard before. Like the producers, like, can you write some risers and fillers? I'm like, what's that? And that's just like kind of noise happening, and I didn't know what that was, you know. So, but very like I learned so much doing that, and it was super fun. And once I got over that type of pride thing, it was, you know, easy. But I could see how it could feel if that was the only thing I did. To try and write good music that somebody's going to tear apart would probably feel weird if that's the only thing I did. Luckily, I have the band and stuff like that. But I would love to do more.
Are you working on anything new? Films or?
Not right now. I just finished one.
Oh, you didn't finish one? It's a movie or a TV show?
It's a film, yeah.
What's your favorite song to play live from the new album?
I like them all, to be honest. We have only played 4 new songs so far. And my favorite is probably it's a song called Paragraph 7. The last paragraph on the record. And that's it's a bit weird, and you know, you can tell the crowd's like, what's happening? Don't understand it, you know. But I like that song. It's very dynamic, and you know, once we get it right, it's a good feeling. And yeah, it's a groovy tune, I think, and happening, like lots of stuff happening.
So do you listen to any Indian music at the moment, and any favorites?
I mean, my Indian section in my record collection is pretty sparse.
Okay.
But I do have, and I was hunting for a long time, a record by the Savages.
Okay.
What the fuck is it called now? Black Scorpio. Super rare. It's great, like a die cut sleeve, like a gatefold sleeve. It's from like 73. Incredibly hard to find and super good. Garagey rock, almost hard rock or psychedelic or whatever. I think that's the only Indian record I have, to be honest. But they did another one, which I still haven't found. And then there's this band I'm looking for called Atomic Forest. From also like 70s psychedelic. But yeah, it's going to put me back. Like I have to take out a second mortgage to be able to afford to buy it. It's impossible to find because I only look for original copies, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very, very difficult to find. I have, of course, like some like sitar player records like Ravi Shankar and stuff like that. Ananda Shankar.
Yeah.
But rock, it's only Savages right now. But I'm very happy for that record. Very happy.
Any plans coming back? Doing anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, we have plans, and we were meant to come back this year, but it's looking like next year, maybe. But you have to take in so many things into consideration, like can we afford it? Where are we playing? What's the state of the world? Those types of boring things. But we have been there 4 times, maybe 3 or 4 times, maybe 5. I don't know. But it's great. It's one of my favorite countries to play. But we show up once every 5 years or something like that. Play a show. Like we never toured there. We just kind of fly in, do one show, maybe do a second show, and then we're out. But it's lovely. So I'm hoping. Actually, I am the one who's going to push for it for next year.
Thank you so much.
I have to find that Savages record.
Yes.
For sure. We'll also try our best. In the band, who is the most optimistic?
Frederick.
Careless.
Careless.
Yeah.
Frederick.
The best hairstyle.
Frederick.
The most organized.
Frederick.
The wisest.
Mendes.
Always late.
Me.
Earliest to rise. Wake up.
Frederick.
The best at social media.
Walt.
Easiest to panic.
Frederick. George, our tour manager, he knows everything.
The best chef.
Frederick.
Oh, wow.
Ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
The quickest to anger or short-tempered.
Me.
That was a quick section. So the final question is, any final word to your fans in India?
Well, we love them, love you. And like I said before, we really hope to come back. I'm going to push for it, not just to find the records I'm looking for, but the hospitality is always great there. We love Indian food. We think it's beautiful. It's very unusual to our normal kind of touring grounds.
Yeah.
The crowd's great. I remember there's like either it was in India or that I met like a couple of Indian fans who like, are you gonna play our song? They asked, and I was like, your song? Yeah, Atonement. There's a song called Atonement.
Yeah.
On Ghost Reveries, which is based on an Indian scale type, but I didn't know it. Like I figured, like the people who knows the scale would say, no, it's not right. But they said, yeah, it's we love that song because it sounds like Indian folk music, So yeah, we would have to rehearse that song, come and play. But I hope that they will wait for us. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen next year.
Very excited.
Your song names in all the albums are really beautiful. It's very poetic, I'd say.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was just curious, like, how was that process? How do you go about it?
Well, I kind of stopped that process now with the last album because they were called Paragraph and no. But I mean, to me, it's just like the aesthetics when you look at a song title, they always been important to me, and I always been drawn to those maybe not so common words. I'm also like a bit of an Anglophile in that sense. I love both the country, but I love the language, and got so much inspiration from films and other bands. Just pick up a Iron Maiden record, for instance, or just the Iron Maiden. Like, what's that? Like that's awesome. Little did I know it's a torture. But, I just kind of looked at beautiful words and checked out the meaning. And over the years, I've done a few mistakes where I thought it meant something and it meant something completely different. Which one is that? Well, I remember I wrote some lyric, like it's supposed to be a beautiful lyric. I can't remember which song, but the lyric was like lonely cesspools. And our label at the time is like lonely cess, like you lonely holes shit. I was like, no, is that what it, he was kind of, I don't know. It was just like not what I wanted to write, so to speak. But I just like to experiment with the language, and there's no rules, not even grammar. I don't really pay attention. Like, I want it to be correct, but I allow myself to fuck with the grammar and make it look or sound weird. Freedom, artistic freedom.
Awesome. So thank you so much for this quick chat with Sinusoidal Music, and hope you have a great festival, and wish you all the best.
Thanks. Likewise.
See you in India soon.
Yeah, we'll do.